Hello, it's Mrs Glasson. Welcome to lessons 11, 12, 13 and 14. Congratulations on having come thus far. As you all know, you don't learn creative writing by doing tasks. If only it were that easy. As all grammar school English teachers know, you learn how to write by being taught how to write. To make an analogy you have heard me use before, the writing task is a bit like the driving test at the end. First, you need to be taught how to drive. Otherwise, it could be extremely dangerous. As I have seen, I was an 11 plus creative writing marker for over 15 years. And on the topic of creative writing, my students didn't just achieve grade 9 or a star for creative writing at GCSE. Some of my students achieved 100%. And indeed, you have seen examples of their writing. My students, those 15 and 16-year-olds who were taught so well to maximise their skills and who were taught so well to showcase their skills that no creative writing examiner anywhere could award them less than 100% for their creative writing. So here you are, having taken 10 lessons, having been taught how to write, and having taken one mock test teaching you how to improve your skills. Although you have all arrived here having experienced the same outstanding teaching of Key Stage 2 English skills, your method of arrival may have been different. So before we get on with lesson 11, let me clarify and explain. If you have arrived after completing the extension course, you can see why this is named Unit 5. But like the other students, you have completed lessons 1 to 10 and mock test 1B. If you have arrived after completing the 11 plus revision course, you have completed lessons 1 to 10 and mock test 1B, and you are ready for lessons 11, 12, 13 and 14. If you have arrived after completing the 11 plus foundation course in preparation for home study or live tuition, or merely to get better at English, you have completed lessons 1 to 10 and mock test 1A. However you have arrived, it is my pleasure to welcome you here to this, the first of my creative writing units, which will focus on a common trope of Key Stage 2, 3 and 4 writing, a form of exam writing popular in the 11 plus and in GCSE exams, persuasive writing, or more specifically, the persuasive speech, formal and informal letter. You were taught all about the writing triplets of the national curriculum. You know what they are. You know their significance to creative writing. So, persuasion. This is a writing trope with which you are familiar because you have done many tasks in primary school which use this type of writing. And it's also a type of writing for which you have been well prepared by my teaching thus far. So, having established how lesson 11 follows on from lesson 10, as usual, I'm going to go through the learning objectives and the resources which you can already see next to this video in their usual places. I will also explain the fun pre-lesson research which you need to have finished, and also the mock tests. As I have always said, I believe that tests should incorporate assessment for learning. They should be diagnostic. They should help you to improve. What's the point of doing tests if you don't know how to improve, right? Frequently, those who don't know how to teach English confuse teaching with testing. Again, as an 11 plus marker, I have seen the dangers and the damage caused by that approach to candidates' English in general, to their creative writing in particular, and, regrettably, to their chances of passing the 11 plus. Therefore, at the end of lesson 10, you did a very important mock test. Mock test 1. Like the lessons, mock tests 2 and 3 are sequential. Parents, if your child hasn't done them already, I encourage you to enrol in mock tests 2 and 3. Each comes with its own target setting feedback lesson. Mock tests that show you how to improve. Mock tests that teach. Okay, so having been taught how to write, having been equipped with the skills by a former 11 plus examiner and grammar school English teacher, you are now ready for lessons 11, 12, 13 and 14. Creative writing or transactional writing. Persuasion. Are you ready? Let's go.